canceled today for students in both Danville and Plainfield. That's because of two credible threats overnight. Danville authorities had arrested two male students for allegedly making death threats against their classmates at Danville Community High School. Then a new threat emerged targeting Plainfield students, and that's what shut Danville schools down too. And here's why. An anonymous threat was made online to a single Plainfield female student, and every classmate she considers a friend threatened in that message. It's violent, disturbing, and too graphic to show. This anonymous threat was also then redirected to target Danville students, and police investigators are trying to figure out why. RTV6 has team coverage of these breaking developments. Eric Cox is standing by with the latest on Plainfield. But first up, RTV6's Julie Pursley is live with a closer look at the Danville investigation first. Julie.
Mark, this investigation is ongoing. As you said, two Danville High School students under arrest, and at this hour, police are still looking for at least one other person. Now, Danville investigators say the two students, freshman and sophomore boys, were taken into custody last night. The school says the investigation started with a report of a student planning to bring a gun to school today. School officials notified parents of the investigation last night. Then school officials decided to close Danville Community Schools today, district-wide. They made that decision this morning after police say a different person posted threatening messages on social media today. Those posts mentioned possible attacks at Danville and Plainfield high schools. Police say at this point, those posts don't appear to be connected to the boys arrested last night. Today, Danville High School sits empty. Parents and students say they are concerned. We talked to a student and mom who didn't want their faces on camera. The student told us she heard one of the boys here at Danville High School make those threats yesterday.
He was going to bring a gun to school tomorrow, and he was going to stand in a corner and just blow everyone up. And everyone went into class and was like, oh, well, this kid said this, and I don't know. I was just like, oh, this is serious.
She's scared to death. So I feel like they made the correct decision today. Absolutely.
The student tells me that she and classmates notified school officials right away. She says she believes one of the students arrested last night is one of the kids that she heard yesterday, the boy make the threat. Now, as far as the threats on social media this morning, police tell us, again, they are still trying to figure out who that is and find that person. As far as the superintendent, he tells us that police and school officials will pursue charges for anyone involved. Live in Danville, Julie Pursley, RTV6.
Thank you, Julie. Threats also forced Plainfield schools to close today, and now administrators are looking into what comes next for extracurricular events. RTV6's Eric Cox is tackling this part of the story and continues our team coverage live in the newsroom. Eric.
Yes, Mark, even though today was meant to be the last day of final exams for students at Plainfield High, the school corporation made the decision to cancel classes not only at the high school, but at each and every school in their district. This after a Facebook user going by the name of Brian Kill began making threats to open fire at the school. I'm told that corporation officials are now working with police to determine who's behind these online threats. And recently, I'm seeing that even other Facebook users are trying to help investigators by identifying the IP address of the person causing all of this concern. It appears that the author of the threatening post was originally targeting one Plainfield High student in particular, going as far as to release obscene images of the girl online and let it be known that they intended to shoot and kill her, her friends, and anyone in her class. The latest mention of her coming just 4 hours ago, when the person behind these posts gave the girl an ultimatum: either apologize publicly on television or the situation will escalate. Today I talked to a mother of 3 Plainfield Community School students, and she tells me that her daughter actually knows the girl being threatened, and she can't begin to fathom what her and her family are facing right now.
It breaks my heart for her and her family, her friends. It's, you know, as we struggle with how we explain to our small children of what's going on today, I can only imagine the discussions that she's having with her family or her family's having with her to try to explain that. So it's heartbreaking, complete heartbreak.
And those sentiments were echoed by a lot of people we've talked to out in the Plainfield area today. Now, Plainfield schools are set to reopen on January 4th, but the question that I'm told still remains right now is whether or not extracurricular activities will be allowed to continue on school grounds, or if the students will miss out on those as well. As it stands right now, the basketball team is set to host a team from Terre Haute tomorrow night. Live in the newsroom this noon hour, Eric Cox, RTV 6.
And more information just into the newsroom. We're learning in light of everything happening in Plainfield and Danville, Martinsville students won't be out for recess. Martinsville calling this a lockout, not a lockdown. No threats to their students, but they are taking extra safety precautions and being extra vigilant to protect students. We are keeping you up to date on this on the RTV6 app. That's where you can find all the latest in these threats, and that's where we will post everything we learn throughout the day. The latest on this breaking news also on the Now Indy at 4 o'clock.